Hello indie game fanatics and welcome to my tips for new players of Caribbean Legend. I recently did a full let's play of this game with the help of veteran players from the community. I will have a link to the playlist along with the game dev's official Discord server in the description down below, where I got a lot of ideas for this video. If you enjoy these types of videos, then smack the like button and leave a comment down below on which tip helped you the most. And tip number 1. Let's begin with where the game starts, and that is character selection. I recommend starting with story mode over Sandbox for first-time players, as it provides a more structured start to the game, which will allow for a smoother learning experience. The devs have also been working hard to add a lot of tutorials to the early game to explain game mechanics in the story mode, which really helps. In order to play story mode, your starting character will be Charles Demure. You can play as 2 other characters, but only in Sandbox mode. From here, you can choose your character's background. Here is where your personal preference can play a big part, as you get to decide what you want to focus on early game. For brand new players though, I recommend the default duelist or the accountant backgrounds. Duelist gives you the highest energy pool, which helps out a lot in early combat, and Accountant allows for you to focus on trade and treasure hunting in the early game. No matter what character background you choose to select, I recommend using your personal combat skill points on medium weapons specialization on the first playthrough. They have a distinct advantage during large engagements at being able to hit multiple enemies at once, which can make the really tough large-scale battles easier for new players. While you can have some freedom in skills, your pirate stats affect how well your skills can grow. So you want to synergize your background with your intended playstyle. The one thing to keep in mind is that if you have the Vile Little Gods DLC, it does give you a chance to change those pirate stats later on one time. So you are not fully locked in for the playthrough. You can also earn a few pirate stats throughout the playthrough. Tip number 2, quest timers and exploration mode. Try not to overload yourself with quests early on. Most quests have timers and require them to be done right away in order to not run out of time. If you are concerned about losing too many quests because of the timers, you can select exploration mode in character selection screen to make the game a bit more forgiving. However, most quests will still have deadlines, sometimes just longer ones, or no deadline depending on the quest. Tip number 3, unlimited chest storage on ship. Character weight is a constant limitation in the game. The one saving grace is that the chests located in the captain's cabin have infinite storage. This storage carries over to whatever ship you are currently in command of, and so you have a way of safely hoarding everything until you learn what is of value to you and what isn't. I highly recommend hoarding everything and only selling items when you need the pesos or doubloons until you learn what crafting recipes matter to you. Tip number 4, usage of the Spyglass. Spyglass is a highly valuable item to safely engage enemies and is not very obvious on how to use it, so I'm going to give you guys a quick breakdown. There are several different types of spyglasses in the game. Each tier can affect the range and information you can gather from enemy ships, so it is useful sometimes to have multiple spyglasses on you at once. To use the spyglass while in local sea map, press tab to go to the free roam on your ship, and then left click the mouse button and hold it down to move around in the direction that you are facing. Move the mouse left or right to turn your character. Once facing the ship you want to view, press Ctrl to use the spyglass. On screen, this will provide all information that the current spyglass you have equipped can display about the other ship. You can use this on both enemy and friendly ships. Spyglass will also give useful info such as if the enemy has the musket volley skill or if they are carrying something of value. This helps you with identifying which ships are worth trying to board throughout the game. Be careful though. Ships with musket volley, you will want to grape shot down their crews to where you have a crew numbers advantage to board them safely. Tip number 5, exchange anywhere. I personally had the misconception when I started playing that in order to exchange goods between ships, you had to be within range on the local sea map or in a shop. This isn't true. At any time outside of combat on the ship screen, which is F2 on your keyboard, you can double-click on the other ships in your fleet's portrait and initiate trade between them. If you want to exchange goods between ships you are not in direct control of, just swap to one of those ships and then trade with the other. It makes trading goods between your own fleet very easy and something you'll find yourself doing often. Tip number 6. Officers and crew. The most valuable resource for any captain. Officers provide your ship with the skills you are lacking. Once you decide what you are going to focus on yourself when it comes to your naval skill points, you will then recruit officers to fill the roles that you are missing. You want to make sure you are picking officers that share a morality alignment with your playstyle as well. Otherwise, eventually the officers will leave if you do too many actions that do not align with them. If you plan to go full evil pirate, don't pick morally good officers and vice versa. Crew are constantly coming and going, but you want to keep your crew numbers high and morale high. Never forget to feed them. They tend to die very quickly. Also, keeping rum stocked keeps the crew happy. Each nation's crew recruiting from taverns has its advantages and disadvantages, with the most skilled coming from the pirate taverns. The highest skilled crew to recruit, though, come from NPCs on islands where you can recruit them between 3 and 20 at a time. Also, you will sometimes find highly skilled single sailors in taverns looking for a crew. There are also officers that are permanent that you can recruit throughout the game. These are the best officers, so keep your eyes out for them. Tip number 7. Utilize amulets and gear. Amulets and gear are very important to boosting your character's stats where you need it the most, especially in the early game. Whenever you see an amulet for sale at stalls, buy them. You never know when you'll need them, and they are used up rather quickly. This applies to your officers as well. When you come across a major battle, you want to make sure that not only you are well equipped, but also your officers that will be fighting alongside you on both land and at sea. Always be on the lookout for gear that are upgrades for yourself and your officers. Sometimes it's not obvious from the numbers alone in the tooltip. You may have to equip and compare the stats with your perks included. This is especially true for guns. Tip number 8. Tab on global map and the global map boundaries mod. Blackmark Studio is not against you modding the game, as in this case they even provide the mod. This mod being the global map boundaries. This mod can be easily found by going to the game's Steam Workshop page and sorting by most popular of all time. It'll be right near the top of the mods that are listed there. This mod lets you see each zone while on the global map. When time is valuable, the fastest way to travel is directly on the sea map. However, each location has a wall where even if you sail beyond it, once you go to the global map, it will put you back to that wall. So this mod helps you know where that wall is to save time figuring out for yourself. Also, it makes finding unmapped islands easy, which some people may be against, as it is slightly story immersion breaking. Hence, I assume why it's a mod and not part of the official game itself. Don't be afraid to use this mod as a new player though, if the slight immersion break isn't a big deal to you. Also, when on the global map, you can hold tab and mouse around the map, using this as a way to look around instead of always checking the map in-game. Tip number 9. Warehouses and banks. Always put stolen goods in warehouses to launder them. Each nation's capital has a warehouse in the shipyard that you can access for a small monthly fee. They provide a large storage space for trade goods, cannon ammo, spare cannons, and strategic resources. When you capture enemy ships with trade goods on them, I highly recommend storing them in the warehouse for a bit before selling them at the shops, as the shops will not give full price for stolen goods. But you can effectively launder the stolen goods by stashing them in a warehouse for a while first, and then taking them out and selling them later. These are also the best place to stash strategic goods to later use to upgrade your ships. Pesos can feel hard to come by early on. Once you get past the initial struggle though, pesos become a rather trivial resource until late game, where paying for large crews becomes an issue. Once you are past that initial struggle, I recommend investing your pesos in the game's banks. You can stash up to 4 million pesos in each bank with a 3% monthly return. While this may not feel like a lot, the game will typically take you several in-game years to beat, resulting in a nice source of monthly income to help with avoiding late game having to go around collecting pesos just to pay your crew. That way, you can focus on having fun late game, and you can also collect that nice achievement for having 50 million pesos by the end of the game. Tip number 10. Don't be afraid to start on easy. This game is an old school RPG. While it is a modern rebuild of it, many of the game's functions and mechanics, while having received quality of life updates, are still designed around those old school methods of a lot of trial and error for the player. The game can be very unforgiving, and the hardest part is at the start. Once you have built up a crew and a decent ship, you can get along a lot more smoothly, but if you are having trouble getting through the early game, don't feel bad about lowering the difficulty. Bonus tip: read the logbook carefully. Some quests require some out-of-the-box thinking, some quests require remembering dialogue that isn't even recorded in the logbook. I personally kept a logbook myself, writing down whatever I thought could be useful information in case it wasn't logged in the game's logbook. It paid off on a few occasions and helped me remember a lot more details, so that's why I'm mentioning it. If you find yourself unable to figure out how to solve a quest, look it up online or even join the game's Discord server. There are dozens of very knowledgeable game veterans willing to help out new players there, and I can't recommend enough getting help when you need it, so you can focus on enjoying this amazing and massive game. It took me over 250 hours to play through with help. Thank you for watching my tips for new players of Caribbean Legend. Are there any important tips you think I missed? Was there a favorite tip of mine that helped you in the early game? Please let me know in the comments section below. If you want to see more content like this in the future, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing another full playthrough when version 2.0 drops later this year. Have a great day.